You sent it to your friends? Doesn't stop. Seriously, like, there we go. Why do we have to? Some people, that's how they roll. So that's stress. Look, Chris says this now. You know what it is? You can't see everybody in Zoom. I see. Yeah. That it's not letting it control. It's not letting it control.
it's not. Okay, speaker. But how do I switch it to this? Okay, I know.
Yeah.
We have 40, but how come I can't? I need to admit people who are trying.
Everyone's muted. I muted people.
No, admit.
Yeah. Okay. I'll mute. You have to participate, don't you?
It doesn't let me spotlight. Oh, here we go. Am I muting myself?
Don't worry about muting your phone. You're going through the main system.
Are we? Oh my God. This is mute. I'm muted here. Yes.
I'll let people.
Friends, please, if there is a problem, text Dan. Dan, what is your number? For all those of you who are on Zoom, please text 908 305 1076. I'm muted. All right, we are going to start the service. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for being here for our wonderful Bat Mitzvah. And we have, I see, a very special guest here. Anita, good job for inviting Fred. Fred, good to see you. Yeah. Patty, yes. So thank you and welcome. We are going to, like I said, start the service. So I'm going to invite all our Bat Mitzvah, those of them who are here. We have 7 altogether. 3 of them are on Zoom. Marjorie Najarian, Barbara Lewin, and Robin Katchen, they're on Zoom. And we have here Debbie Scott, Carol Robbins, and Anita Naro, and Andrea Kirschbaum. So ladies, let's come up to the front to receive your talitot first, but we'll begin, of course, with Hina Matov Umanai. Very shy group. Let's join in the Hina Matov Umanai. Are we good? Done? Hina Matov Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hina Matov Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hina Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hina Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hina Matov Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hina Matov Umanai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. And I believe that Marjorie, Barbara, and Robin have their talitot ready. So if you're presenting to each other or somebody else presents to you, we're going to first say the blessing. Please call up your presenters. Sydney Dickman and Ronnie Stop and Darcy and Stu Kirschbaum. So you guys will hold it. So can you stand behind it? Let's go ahead and stand behind it. And on the count of 3, we're going to read the blessing for putting on the talit. 1, 2, 3. Amen. And the English? And now I would ask the presenters to put the talit on your shoulders. Hug and kiss. All right, enough of that. You can Thank you, sir. This is the first time for me to have multiple bat mitzvahs, so a little logistical details, but so far we've been pretty synchronized. What do you think? So far, so good. We continue on page 192 with Matovu. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Bani berov chazdecha avov eitecha eshtochave el heichal kodshecha beirotecha matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha umkom mishkan kevodecha. Bani eshtachave ve'echra evrecha lifnei Adonai osi. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Bani tefilati lecha Adonai, Adonai et ratzon. Elohim berov chazdecha, aneni bemet yeshecha. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu alecha Yaakov, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. We'll continue with Nisim B'chol Yom on page 198. After each paragraph, please join me in Amen. Baruch atah Adonai
אשר נתן לשכבי בינה, להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, פוקח עברים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, זוטף כפופים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, רוקה הארץ על המים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, המכין מצעדי גבר. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, מלביש ארמים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, הנותן ליעף כוח. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, המעביר שינה מעיני ותנומה מעפעפיי. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלם אלוהים. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בת חורין. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטר ישראל בתפארה. אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה. And we continue with אלה דברים in English, page 206.
I'm falling apart. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people, but the study of Torah encompasses them all.
And Anita will continue with Hatzikadosh on page 224. Please rise.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba amen. V'amal divrach hiroti v'imlich malkutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'tekol beit Yisrael bagala bagala uvitman kariv v'maru amen. Yeheshmei rabba mevorach le'alam al me'al maya yitbarak yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitparar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalel v'yithalal shemei dekudshah brechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata dush berata v'nemata damiran b'yama b'maru. Amen.
We continue with Baruch Hu on page 226.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach, le'olam va'ed.
Page 228.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer uvarei chosech, osei shalom uvarei et hachol, Hamir la'aretz veladirim aleha verachamim.
Uvtuvo mechadesh b'kol yom tamid mahaset v'reshit marabu mahaseta Adonai kulam v'kol ma hasita al mal haaretz kim yanecha tizbarach Adonai Eloheinu.
Barbara, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Al Shavach Ma'aseya Yadaka Va'al Ma'ore Or Shi Asita Yefa'arucha Selah Or Hadash Al Sion Ta'ir Veniske Hulanu Mehira La'oro Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer Hama Orot.
Thank you. Robin will lead us in English. Hold on, Robin. I'll find you. Meanwhile, you can unmute yourself.
I did?
Okay, very good. Hold on, let me find you on the screen. Where's my Robin? I see Harold. I don't see Robin.
I'm there.
I know you are. Right. Don, can you see Robin? For some reason, I don't see her.
When she unmuted herself, she moved to the front. She should be right next to you.
Robin, if you were there, I just don't see you on the screen.
Okay, let me go. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy, you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness, you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai. In wisdom, you formed them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai, our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine the new light upon Zion, that we may all swiftly merit in its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer Hamarot.
Amen. Very nice. We could finally see you. Don, could you remove spotlight from Barbara and Robin? I can't do it from here. Thank you. And Carol will continue on page 231 with English.
Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Israel be'ahava.
And all our Bat Mitzvah will join in Shema on page 232.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated.
Page 234, Be'ahavta. Be'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dirbatam v'shiktecha bebitecha uvletecha v'derech uvshakbecha uvkumecha uvshaktam leot aleotecha v'hayu etotefot beinenecha uvtaktam amizot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'isitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kirushim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeitem be'eretz Mitzrayim le'od lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
And Barbara Lewin will continue with English responsive reading on page 239. Don, can you put the spotlight on Barbara, because it doesn't work from my side here. Here we go. Go ahead, Barbara.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Deserving of blessing. Thank you, Barbara. And we continue with Mi Chamocha on page 240.
שירה חדשה שבחו גאולים, לשם אחז שפת הים, יחד כולם ודורים ליחו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדינו מלך יהודה וישראל, ועלינו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We rise with Tefillah, page 242, as Robin Katchen leads us. Robin, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Adonai sifatai tita ufia gita hilatechta. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Bekonei Hakol V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot Umevi Gula Livnei B'neinem Laman Shamo Biava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah.
Marjorie Najarian continues with Givorot, page 246.
Okay. Ata gibur le'olam Adonai michayei hakol ata Rav laHoshia morid hatal Michalkel chayim v'chesed michayei hakol v'rachamim rabim Sameich noflim v'raficholim umatir asurim kayem emunato V'shenei afar, micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umido melech, melech meimit, chayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'na'aman atah lecha ayir ha'akol, baruch atah Adonai, michayei hakol.
Thank you. Good job, both Robin and Marjorie. We continue with Kiddusha, page 248.
How do I mute myself?
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו, אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. Hallelujah.
You may be seated.
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
And we join in Vishamro on page 250. Any of you want to help me out? Whoever wants to help out to sing Vishamro, please come on up. So you can also speak at your own spot. There you go. Yeah. אחד, שתיים, שלוש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדור אותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדור אותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין
page 253. I'm gonna take this mask off. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished? Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of the time, to the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh haShabbat.
Oh, now it's the page. Okay. 255, page 255. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. Baruch atah Adonai she'ocha lavacha b'yi'ah na'avod.
Marjorie will read English on page 256.
We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov simcha uchaneh lahadot.
Thank you, Marjorie. And we join in the prayer for peace, page 258.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, v'cheinu avinu kulanu kechad, ki ve'or panecha, ki ve'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha, Torah chaim ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, utzedaka uvracha ve'rachamim, ve'chaim ve'shalom, sim shalom, tova uvracha, hein v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, omecha, v'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol ed ubechol shah, bishlomecha, sim shalom, tova uvracha, chen v'chesed ve'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha.
Pause for a moment of silent meditation.
I didn't hear what she said.
page 260.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
And here we come to the most important part of our service, the Torah service. I would ask you to rise, page 362. It's a pleasure to invite to open the ark Dana Schneider and Darcy Scott. And while we take the Torah out, I would like to ask the ushers to give out our Chumashim so that people can follow the Torah chant and the Haftarah chant.
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני
It's been a problem.
Okay, I think now we're done.
Not in a good direction.
I'm very excited today. I think, I don't know who's more excited, you or me. Probably the same in a way, right? Well, normally at this point of the service, we have the tradition of passing symbolically the Torah and its teachings from generation to generation. But today I will pass this Torah from one Bat Mitzvah to another. And what can I tell you? They've been carrying on this tradition already, passing it to their children. All ladies will talk about this in their speeches, but today you will receive this Torah, literally and symbolically. let's join in Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai Elohim, Rosh Shmo Yardav, Lechad Adonai,
You may be seated. Carol, your speech.
Shabbat Shalom. I joined this class because my sister asked me to. I love my sister and I love being with her. I also think Rabbi Ina is terrific. So without thinking it through, joining this class was a very easy decision. In the beginning, it was what I thought it would be: relaxing, informative, and fun. And then we had to learn a prayer. And then we received our Torah portions. And then the rabbi asked us to write a speech and read it to the congregation. And then I wanted to terminate my commitment. My portion of the Torah is about the land having a Sabbath of complete rest. Like the land, sometimes when we truly do nothing, relax and let our minds wander, we rejuvenate. Perhaps we realize how lucky we are and that some things we thought were unattainable are achievable. I would like to congratulate my classmates and thank Rabbi Ina. It was a pleasure to learn and laugh with such a supportive and wonderful group of people. Todah.
Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Our Torah portion has deep significance for me. We learn about how Moses is instructed by Adonai to tell the Israelites. Oh, she's giving me a little step stool. Okay. Thank you, Rabbi, for pointing out how short I am. Oh, look at that. Okay. Where was I? We learn about how Moses is instructed by Adonai to tell the Israelites to cultivate and harvest the land for 6 years. In the 7th year, the land must take a complete rest. This is called Shemitah. In this time, the land rejuvenates and enjoys a complete Shabbat. There is no harvesting, storing, or selling of the yield. This bears similarity on some level to what we have been going through recently. Although it has not been done willingly, we have had to take time off from our busy lives and have been forced to slow down and relax and maybe even smell the roses. We have taken time off from work to reset and have a complete Shabbat. We have had time to spend with family, precious time that we can never get back. This makes us appreciate all the more what we have. Not unlike the land of Israel, after the 7th year, harvesting and production begin again, and it starts a new cycle. Hopefully, for our new cycle, we won't forget the lessons that we learned. I know that this past year has been very difficult for many of us. I've had my own personal struggles, and I feel that my strength and perseverance will carry me through to a more positive place. Becoming a Bat Mitzvah is allowing me to reach that place. My Jewish journey has been a wonderful ongoing adventure. I was raised in a conservative temple with very little involvement. I always knew I was Jewish and that it would be an important part of my life and my children's. Both Drew and Sydney have become bat mitzvahs, and they both know the importance of a Jewish life. My visits to Israel annually, becoming more observant, embracing our culture and traditions, and learning Hebrew has been so rewarding. The connection and deep love of my Jewish community is so important to me. When my mother passed away 14 years ago, I needed a connection to find peace, and I founded a Temple Shalom. This community reached out and saved me. I want to thank Rabbi Einer for her spirit and energy in helping all of us to reach this day. She has also had her own personal struggles and is forging ahead in a healthy way. I admire her deeply, and I look forward to our friendship continuing and deepening. I want to thank everyone for being here to celebrate this great milestone in our lives. Our mighty group of 7 have bonded as we studied and laughed and learned. Having positive things to celebrate is really important right now. I want to thank my parents in heaven. You're always with me every step of the way. I am who I am because of you. I want to thank my daughters, Drew and Sydney. I love you both more than life, and this would not be special without you. My family and friends have been instrumental in keeping me sane and focused. You have lifted me up and carried me through some tough days. I am a better person because of all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Fred, my son, some of us know that. Patty, I've learned so much from you both. I cherish our friendship. I love and support you. Thank you for all your love and support. And I do love and support you too. And lastly, I'm sorry, it's a little long. I thank Hashem for all I have. Without him, I have nothing. I wake every day thanking him, for it's not what we don't have, but it's what we have. Let the journey continue. Yay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here.
All right, so my printed speech is at home, nicely rested on a table. So we're gonna go with I will speak loudly. Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Bahar, which is from the book of Leviticus, where Moses speaks to God at Mount Sinai. Moses is told of the sabbatical year for the land, where the Israelites can only farm, cultivate, and sell for 6 years, and must not on the 7th year. The 7th year is not only a year for the land to rest, but also for the people to share the crops that they produced. No one is to hoard food no one is to hoard food and anyone can eat from the land. If there is not enough food on the land, then anyone who has extra food stored must share with all. This is to address any poverty and hunger during the 7th year. What I found interesting is that this was contemplated so long ago, and to this day, we are still dealing with food issues everywhere. We as a temple support the Roxbury Food Pantry and Nourish New Jersey. It would be great if people could put this to practice in everyday life and share the overage as it's mentioned in Bahar. One thing that was reported on during the pandemic was the shortage of food, but also the throwing away of food because of industries that were closed. I read articles of milk being dumped because they had contracts to only sell to institutions, but it was hard to get milk at the grocery store way back in April and May. There had to be a better way to deal with all those issues and to get the food to the people who needed it. The US has a lot of different rules and regulations that does not allow for food to get to the neediest. There are so many rules that we are not aware of and are done for the wrong reasons. With current technology and the US being a wealthy country, there should be no hungry people in our country. The Torah has teachings that are relevant to this day, and we need to enact this into our current day life. So my journey to becoming a bat mitzvah started in 1997 when I enrolled into my first Intro to Judaism class. 4 years later, when I was pregnant with my second child, who happens to be over there and 18 years old now, I thought it might be a boy, and I felt compelled to finish my conversion to Judaism. I did the mikveh 4 weeks before my son was born. I finally felt that we were a family with one religion, and even though I was not born Jewish, I felt accepted. I remember there was a discussion about an adult bat mitzvah class after my conversion, but I was never confident that I would handle learning Hebrew and reading from the Torah. Many years later, Rabbi Ina advertised that she was looking for people for an adult bat mitzvah class, and my husband encouraged me to do it. Well, more like he pushed me into it. The nice thing was that my daughter, Emma, was studying for her bat mitzvah, and I knew that she would be a great help. She was there for all my issues with learning the vowels and trying to sound out words in her cute little hints, like how to remember the difference between a fe and a pei really helped. I want to thank my family for encouraging me to take the chance to do this to complete my journey in becoming a Jew by choice. My children all had to work so hard to become bar and bat mitzvahs, and I was always so proud of all the work they put into learning their Torah portions and to really go above and beyond. Gotta take a breath. I understand how hard it is, but envy that they were younger and could remember this so much easier. I've had so much fun with my group of ladies trying to learn the alphabet and read Hebrew, and everyone encouraging each other. I want to thank Rabbi Ina for having patience when I struggled to read it at first. She was always trying to keep us practicing and knew when I was not working hard enough and encouraged me to study more. In the end, we made it here, and I'm proud of us on this day that we spend together. Thank you, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.
And last but not least, Robin Katchen.
Shabbat Shalom. It seems ironic that the last speech I make from Temple Shalom's Bima, or virtual Bima, should have been my first one had my Jewish journey taken a traditional path. My Jewish journey has not been traditional. It has been far from it. While both my parents were Jewish, they were not practicing Jews. Yet I still grew up very aware that I was Jewish and that my connection was very strong. Why that was is something I can never explain. While I was not part of a Jewish community, nor did I have a Jewish education growing up, I knew I wanted to provide that experience for my daughters. Carly and Natalie were given their Hebrew names on this Bima. We celebrated their B'nai Mitzvahs on this Bima, and they were confirmed on this Bima. They were the reason I became involved at the synagogue. Way back when, I was asked by Rabbi Sofin to participate in a Rosh Hashanah service. It was an English reading part, but my first reaction was no, I'm not doing it. Then I thought about the example I was setting for the girls and how in a few years, I would be asking them to stand in front of the congregation and lead a service. I reconsidered and participated in the service. After that, I joined the religious school committee. After that, I was asked to join the board. After that, I was asked to join the executive board. And subsequently, I became president of Temple Shalom. Carly and Natalie followed by becoming madrahim in the school, taking leadership participation in the youth group, and actively participating in Jewish life at college. And so as my Jewish journey continues with my bat mitzvah today, I can definitely say it has been an untraditional journey. As I read our Torah portion for this week, one of the words in my first Torah verse stuck in my head, deror, which translates to release. Who among us has not spent time over this last year dealing with the COVID virus, releasing our normal activities, switching gears, and making changes to our lives to fight the virus? I know I had a lot of time to reflect this past year, and looking back on decisions we make along the way change our lives and that of our family. As I look at my daughters and the amazing women they have become, I reflected on the decision I made all those years ago about the example I would set for them. Well, they are out on their own now, each pursuing their own lives, and I am so proud of them. I am releasing the portion of my parenting responsibilities that called for me to provide them with all the things young children need to become self-sufficient, responsible, loving adults. I am now moving on to be there for them, providing guidance, support, and being the loudest and proudest cheerleader there is. So here today at my Bat Mitzvah service, another part of my Jewish journey is released, and as it comes to an end, I am very interested to see what will be next. Thank you to all my fellow B'nai Mitzvah students. While this was not the experience we had envisioned, we did have a lot of virtual fun along the way. And thank you to Rabbi Ina for her patience and perseverance, personally and professionally, trying to educate us. Thank you to my friends, the Carly, Natalie, Harold, who have supported me through this journey.
Thank you, Robin. So far, all the speeches were so deep and insightful and really showed your personalities, ladies. So I'm really grateful for that. We still have 3 more left for the Haftarah portion. Before we continue with reading of the Torah, I would like to invoke the prayer for healing, because as we gather on the Friday night and on Shabbat, it is very important to remember those who cannot be with us because they are sick and in need of strength and support, and also, of course, everybody's prayers. So page 371, you can find on that page the prayer for healing. משברך אבותינו ואמותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את החולים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם, לרפואתם ולחזקם, וישלח להם מהרה רפואה, רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Yuri Yavorowski, Meir Eliyahu ben Mordechai, Hannah Kornblum, Jill Babali, Eric Schwartzman, Mark Lipovich, Kayla Sagelstein, Karen Shapiro, Yitzhak Mordechai ben Levi Bela, Alp Talis, Jeffrey Shield, Carmen Cervantes, Larry Rieger, Miriam Bat Avram V'Divora, Sharon Seligson, Sarah Bat Chana, David Becker, Sarah Leah Bat Etta, Stanley Rubenstein, Diana Landau, Michael Vogel, Sarita Felder, David Horvitz, Gabby Bobrick, Steve Fleischting, Jeff Lampert, Herb Dubin, Zalman Ben Clara, Nathan Goldsmith, Marion Fleischner, Gina Connor, Jerry Friedman, Susan Leet, Joyce Chiburi, Shirley Duffy, Bella Shepsman, Cedric Hill, Yosef Ben Menashe V'Devora, Shana Bat Moshe, Phyllis Feather, Leonard Feather, Shmuel Velvel, Ian Astor, Dorothy Fast, Miriam Bat Ella, Sally Glick, Elizabeth Brezhnik-Hen, Yosefa Tzvia Bat Meir Hirsch, Jay Colson, Chaim Shmuel Ben Danito Ben Adar, Wendy Brenner, Stephen Brandage, Gadol Aryeh Ben Yitzhak Eliezer V'Masha, Peter Samuel Jensen, Erica Liffline, Sharon Blackman, Algernon Hill, Yisraela Bat Shimon Avram Ve'Chevet Bela, Frida Greenman, Maribel DeGelbart, Barbara Hathorn, Evelyn Weiss, Artie Butler, Jason Apter, Ralph Cutler, Dima Litvak, Jesse Peckel, Alex Peckel, Karen Ruchel Bat Bela, Colleen Apter, Scott Horwitz, Brinley Rose Baca, Nancy Lichtenberg, Vess Savage, Asa Kuberman, Lindsay Karen Epstein, Pamela Weinfeld, Anna Vorontsova, and Rina Conti. Are there other names of people you would like to include in Mishaberach? You may say their names. Thank you. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And together, let us say Amen.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
If you have an honor of Aliyah, when I call your names, please go up to the other podium. For the first Aliyah, it is a pleasure to invite Ronald Scott and Darcy Scott, the husband and daughter.
Yambura fur ben Moshe v'Midel v'Dina Pesha Bat Rafur v'Divora l'Aliyah Rishona.
Take them out. I'll go like this. Okay, ready? Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach li'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe Har Sinoi Lemor Daber el Bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ki tabu'ut el haaretz asher ani noten lachem Veshavta haaretz Shabbat ladonoi shesh shanim tizraha sadeka veshesh shanim tizmor kameka ve'afsavta etekbuata.
Perfect job. Yay, you nailed it. You nailed it. Yes, go out. Stay here. Go ahead. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen. You may kiss your bat mitzvah. Go ahead. And kiss it. And for the second Aliyah, first of all, I would like to invite our chanting girl, Bat Mitzvah, Carol Robbins.
Tamod, Hanabat Harold Velila, Bat Mitzvah.
And for the Aliyah, I would like to invite also Ronald Scott and Tarsha Scott, second time.
Yambura fur ben Moshe v'Midel v'Dina Pesha Bat Rafur v'Divora l'Aliyah Shniya.
Adonai Hambarach. Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten Torah.
Amen. Pardon me, I forgot to announce the page in your Humashim. So the Torah portion may be found on page 531. And Carol will continue with verse 4. So page 531, Leviticus 25, Bahar, verse 4. Yeah, amen.
Uvashana hashvi Shabbaton yeh la'aretz Shabbat l'Adonai sadcha lo tizra v'chamecha lo tizmor et tzviach ketzircha lo tikso ve'in ve'nezirecha lo tivsor shnat Shabbaton yeh la'aretz ve'haita Shabbat ha'aretz lachem le'ochlaha lecha ule'avdecha ve'la'amatecha ve'lizkircha ultosha'avcha hagarim imach.
Carol, you did absolutely perfect. Oh my goodness. One more. It's so good. Stay here, stay here.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan v'yochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten Torah.
Amen. Yes, God. Mazel tov. And for the third aliyah for chanting, I'd like to invite Anita Maro. And to chant the blessings, Sidney Dickman and Drew Dickman.
Bat Ephraim b'chana v'dover, Bat Ephraim v'laliyah.
Oh, I need the steps to work. I gotta grow.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten Torah.
Amen.
Amen. V'lihemtecha v'lachaya asher be'artzecha tiyeh hotevuata le'eho le'sorfarta lecha sheva shabbatot shanim sheva ha'amim lechayu lecha yamei sheva shabbatot hashanim tesha be'arba'im shana be'ha'avarta shofar tru'ah ba'kodesh hashvi'i be'asor la'kodesh be'yom ha'kippurim teveru shofar bechol artzachem.
Yes, God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Just call the girls. Mazel tov. I love these girls. You should be loving them. I love them. It's good. Thank you, girls. And for the fourth Aliyah, first of all, I would like to invite the Bat Mitzvah herself to chant from the Torah, Robin Kachin. And to chant the blessings, Carol Kachin, Carly, and Natalie Kachin. Karim Bluma, Bat Junta Adolf, Verucha Kenya, Venachuma Brucha, Bat Junta Verucha Kenya, Naria Revit.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. We continue with verse 10.
Lakidashtem et shanat hahamishim shana ukratem deror ba'aretz lechol yosheveha yovel hi tihye lachem veshavtem ish el achuzato vaish el mishpato tashuvu yovel hi shanat hahamishim shana tihye lachem lo tizra'u velo tikseru et sifiheha velo tivseru et nizireha ki yovel hi kodesh tihye lachem min hasader tochelu et tuvuata.
Blessing. Mazel tov, Robin. Very good. Yeshua.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yeshua. And for the fifth Aliyah chanting, I would like to invite our Bat Mitzvah, Andrew Kirschbaum. Tamud Ariela Bat Abraham and to chant the blessings, of course, the whole family, Kirschbaum, Stu Kirschbaum, Daniel, Jacob, and Emma Kirschbaum. Yamdu Shlomo Yeshia Ben Meir Abraham Veita Daniel Mira Bachmuel Daniela Meira Bachmuel Vemunarin. No, what's Renata? Is Emma. But that's okay, different. Yaakov Ariela. Wait, no. Daniel. Okay, I'll get it. Daniel Meira Bat Shlomo Yeshia Veriela, the Yaakov Ben Shlomo Yeshia Veriela, the Amarina Bat Shlomo Yeshia Veriela. Maria Chamishit. I think I got it straight now.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natar lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Bishnat hayovel hazot tashuvu ish el ahuzato v'kitim keru mimkar la'amitecha o kanov miyad amitecha atonu ish et achiv b'misbar shanim akar hayovel tiknei me'et amitecha b'misbar shnei tiruot yimkar lach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tofenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yesh koach and mazel tov. Emma, how'd your mom do?
Good.
Same portion, right? As the one that you chanted last week.
Yeah, so she didn't get the
I love the color coordination. Kurzman family.
By accident.
And for the sixth Aliyah chanting, I would like to invite Marjorie Najarian.
Tamon, Margalit, Bat Yasha, Simcha Velibush, La Bat Mitzvah,
And to chant the blessing, Marjorie's sister, Barbara Lewin.
Tamon, Basya, Bat Yasha, Simcha Aliyah
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Barbara, when you chant the blessings after, you should stand closer to the mic. We'll continue with verse 16. Marjorie, go ahead.
Lefi Rav Hashanim Targah Miknatao Ulafi Miot Hashanim Tamiot Miknato Ki Misfar Tabiot Umocher Lach V'lo tonu ish et amito v'areta melahecha ki ani Adonai Elohechem v'asitem et chokutai mi'esh v'shvotai tismaru v'asatem otam v'shavtam ha'aretz levetach.
Yesh koach. Barbara?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai
Notain HaTorah.
Amen. Yesh koach and mazel tov. And now, ladies, you're switching. So Barbara is going to be the one who chants from the Torah. We have two sets of sisters among our Bat Mitzvah. It's very, very unusual, very special, right? So one sister would pull the other in. So Barbara Lewin is going to be chanting from the Torah portion, and Marjorie will recite the blessings.
Tamud Bashabat Yasha Simcha Velebosh Habachora Bat Mitzvah Aliyah Tamud Margaret Bat Yasha Simcha Velebosh Laliyah Shvit.
Baruch Hu Adonai HaMavorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vanatna haaretz pirya va'achaltem lasava vishavtem lavetach alecha vechi tumaru manacha bashana hashvi'it hein la nizra vela Ne'esof et tevuatenu, vetziviti et birchati lachem bashana hashishit va'asat et hadvua lishlosh hashanim.
Yesh koach.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'dechenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Beautifully done. Yesh koach. And to lift and dress the Torah, it is a pleasure to invite Sydney. And
Sorry, we had feedback. Or was the two were on at the same time?
He's right.
Sorry. Oh.
He's lifting. Yes. Okay, so it's really okay, so let me turn. It's turned right. Then look at that. So bend your knees.
בזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל הרתי אדוני ביד משה על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
Debbie.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I've always been extremely proud to be Jewish, whether I'm at home or abroad. I wear my Jewish star with pride, knowing that everyone might not feel the same way about Judaism, but I love being Jewish as much as I do. Recently, on a trip to Israel, my sister Carol, my husband Ronnie, and my daughter Darcy, I was approached by an American tourist when visiting Jordan, who told me to remove my Jewish star before entering the country. This person felt very comfortable telling me what to do. She had no authority or reason to do so. I kept it on. In today's climate of anti-Semitism, I find myself wanting to be loud about my Jewish pride and never hide. Situations like the one at the border prompted me to join Temple Shalom in the walk across the Brooklyn Bridge with Rabbi Ina. It wasn't last year, it was a little long ago. But everything's last year in March on a Jewish pride, in a march of Jewish pride. Throughout my life, I have immersed myself in books about Jewish history, the Holocaust, Israeli history, spirituality, and Jewish life. But no matter how much I learned about Judaism, something was always missing. I realize now it was Hebrew. Looking back, I always had awkward moments during services because I didn't know or understand the prayers. I tried to follow Hebrew prayers phonetically, but the phonics interpretations did not match the Hebrew. I became lost and confused. Therefore, I passively listened to my family read and sing. Years ago, I escaped by talking to my mother-in-law, known as Grandma Mickey. One thing I couldn't do alone was teach myself to read Hebrew. So I joined these lovely women in class. It added a new dimension to each of us. In my Haftarah portion, Jeremiah followed Jewish law and passed land down to his family. My husband and I did not pass down land to our children. In its place, we passed down Jewish law and nurtured our children with Jewish tradition. I'm very proud of my children, Brandon, Nolan, Darcy, and Dawn, and their connection to Judaism and their Jewish pride. They each have intense Jewish characteristics that define them. My family means everything to me. We are so connected to each other. Getting Bat Mitzvah gives me another way to connect to them. I can now join them in prayer. So now at services, I won't just watch my husband, my children wrap themselves up in their tallit and read and sing from their prayer book. I will be joining them. Finally, God tells Jeremiah, I got a little emotional here. Finally, God tells Jeremiah, I am the eternal, the God of all flesh. Is anything too difficult for me? Thus, God and Rabbi Ina's support enabled me to be Bat Mitzvahed along with my classmates, my new friends. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. And we'll have Marjorie now.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom. This week, the Haftarah tells the story of the prophet Jeremiah buying the land of his cousin Hanamel, even as they were being attacked by the Babylonians, and Jeremiah is imprisoned. For God had proclaimed that land should be transferred only to family members. Family and responsibility are two themes that run through this particular Haftarah portion. And it has been said that we are all children of God. He is the parent. He is the great and all-powerful. He can do anything. He praises and he punishes. And we are to trust him. He has this outstretched arm and can produce great terrors and great nations. He creates the Jewish people and their nation. Nothing is too difficult for you. And basically, if we just listen to him and do what he says, everything is supposed to go along swimmingly. I read this Haftarah multiple times, and all of a sudden, right in the middle, something stood out. You act with love to thousands, but make their children after them pay for the sins of their parents. What is this doing here in the middle of land transfers and its method? It is first seen in Exodus, and then the pronouncement is revisited multiple times in the books of the Bible. Here in this Haftarah portion, we basically have God playing a trifecta. creating a system for the land of Israel to extend for generations. God gives us the device for preserving arable land through the Shemitah, and at the same time, the ways and means to extend the concept of family and Jewish faith by ensuring that the land is kept in the family, and therefore the continuation of the land of Israel. There is also a moral trust. Key is the postulation that this reinforces the responsibility of one generation to take care of the next. We learn from the mistakes of the parents, we take care of ourselves, we take care of others, and as important, take into account our actions on future generations. God already knows that people will err, not always with evil or malicious intent, but they will err. Each generation is going to fail in some way. In some ways, we are doomed to fail because otherwise we would be perfect, and that is not in the purview of humanity. It is in the purview of godliness. I do not believe that this is about punishment, but to reinforce education and learning. It is the responsibility of each generation to not repeat the mistakes of the prior. God is giving us the creative space to improve, not with the carrot, but with a very large stick. Santayana had his famous quote that those that cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it. Voltaire said that history never repeats itself, man always does. And Mark Twain is credited with history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Of course, history itself cannot be repeated, but humanity can expect to become more learned. God is expecting us to learn and remember and to strive to improve, and perhaps know that God is always there with his strong arm. We have all heard the expression to kick the can down the road. And here I am thinking that by saying that the children will pay for the sins of the parents, God is not necessarily punishing the children. Perhaps he is saying very loudly to the parent, do not do that, or that actions have consequences. Take responsibility for your actions, take care of your future. The future doesn't belong to us, but to the multitudes that will follow. So is that the end lesson? And I don't pretend to guess. Perhaps it is to try harder. Perhaps it is to make a statement of personal improvement. Perhaps it is that despite our imperfections, that God is always there for us to teach us how to pick up the pieces. I'd like to thank 3 people who inspired me to become a bat mitzvah. Sophie, Dina, and Max. They are the first of my 9 beloved grandchildren to accomplish this momentous rite while going to school, participating in sports, music lessons, and other extracurricular activities. How they accomplished it is beyond comprehension, and I am avidly awaiting the next 6 because then I don't have to do it. It occurred to me that I was encouraging everyone to do something that I had not done myself, and so I finally felt obligated to take this giant step. I would also like to thank the rabbi for her patience and encouragement, and the family of Temple Shalom, of which I have been a member from the time I was about 10 years old, and that is a very long time. Last, I would like to thank my sister Barbara, who has been the recipient of more hysterical calls and texts than I can count, and always responds, if not only with an acute reality check, with great love and kindness. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. And now you switch places with Barbara. I'm so glad that you ladies are together in the same place. It would have been a little more complicated, but it's nice that you came and supported each other. Are you in New Jersey or Yonkers? New Jersey.
Mute yourself. Turn your volume down. So, can you turn your volume? Good morning. At the beginning of our Haftarah portion, Jeremiah is in prison in Jerusalem, put there by King Zedekiah for suggesting the Judeans should surrender to Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Jeremiah would rather see his people surrender and remain unharmed than be overrun. he foresaw correctly that the city would be besieged by the Babylonians, and according to Jeremiah's own prophecy, Jerusalem would soon be destroyed and the people of Israel taken into captivity. For his commitment to the truth, Jeremiah is punished and yoked, used by the authorities as an example of what might happen if you choose to buck authority or speak truth to power, as we say in our contemporary lingo. Amid this turmoil, Hashem commands Jeremiah to buy a field from his cousin Hanamel in his hometown of Anatot. With the Babylonians closing in around them, Jeremiah is unlikely to ever benefit from owning the field. But Hashem reveals to him that committing to buying his cousin's land is a promise for the future restoration of Israel. At some future date, fields will again be bought and sold in the land, a message of hope and promise in a time of destruction and chaos. What moves me about this story is the basic teaching that telling the truth as you see it may be risky, but there may also be a greater purpose involved. It's a story about exile and alienation, but it is also a reminder about the importance of acting with humility and generosity toward others, even though it may not bring the result you hope for. It is also a reminder to keep our commitments. In this case, the divine word brings a message of faith in the future, of looking past our difficulties and challenges and betting on the long game. As I studied my Torah portion, I wanted my Hebrew and chanting to be perfect. I easily succumbed to the idea that I had to transcend any kind of weakness I might be feeling about it. But I came to realize that becoming a Bat Mitzvah is not about perfection or even the effort I put into it. For me, becoming a Bat Mitzvah is about having an authentic experience. It's about bringing the ancient forward, exploring identity, connection, history, being open to a spiritual experience, an acknowledgement of family celebrations and deaths, the chain of generations that walked through Temple Shalom doors. And this is how I'm experiencing it, in a rough-hewn way, so that performance and perfection are now the last thing it's about. Becoming Bat Mitzvah has created a good kind of disturbance in me that is opened a path to learning and connection to the Torah. I want to thank my B'nai Mitzvah friends for their lovely companionship, my sister Marjorie for encouraging me to become Bat Mitzvah in the synagogue we grew up in, and Jeff for always gently pushing me beyond my comfort level. And Rabbi Ina for your commitment to us and for helping us along with generosity and humor. In the words of our great American poet, Walt Whitman, "Now, voyager, sail thou forth to seek and find." And his wise words that I read as a reinforcement of the importance of community. We were together. All else has long been forgotten by me. Or to paraphrase, we were together. I forget the rest. Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful. If you would like to follow the Haftarah portion, you may find it on page 539, beginning with verse 6. Anita will lead us in the blessing, and then the chant will be in the following order. Debbie, Marjorie, Barbara, and then Andrea will conclude with the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah Uv'Moshe avdo, Uv'Yisrael amo, Uv'Nvi'ei ha'emet b'tzedek.
Vayomer Yemer Yahu Haya Deva Adonai Elai Lemor Hine Hamnam El Ben Shalom Dorcha Ba Elecha Lemor Kene Lecha Et Sadim Asher Ba'anotot Ki Lecha Mishpat HaGeula Liknot.
And Marjorie will continue, followed by Barbara.
Va'ekne et hasadeh me'et Hanamel ben Dodi asher ba'anatot ve'ashkelalo et hakesef sheva shkalim ba'asara hakasef.
Barbara?
Va'ektov ba'sefer ba'ektov ba'ed edim ba'eshkol hakesef b'moznayim va'ekach et sefer hamikna et hechatum hamitzvah vehachukim vet hagalui.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Sor kol haolamim Sadiq b'kol hadarot Ha'el haniman Hayomer ve'osei Hadiber u'mkayim Shekol devarav emet v'tzadik Ahotorah ve'havodah ve'ahaneviim Va'ayom haShabbat hazeh shanatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lekedusha v'lu necha lechavodah ulteferet al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anaknu modim lach umavarachim otak yitbarak shimka B'chol tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Wow, ladies, you can take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. This was such a privilege to teach you in the past almost 2 years, a little under, like a few months under 2 years. We started with a little larger group, but then those of you who really were the most determined, the 7 of you, stayed, which, you know, it was perfect because each got an aliyah. We have 7 aliyot, so it's just a perfect number, right? A magic number. I think that I've established and created really a special relationship with every single one of you. With some prior to this class and with some of you over the course of our gatherings. And so I want to talk to each of you in no particular order. So first, let me invite Carol. And do you want to come up? Carol, our first encounter was, I'm not going to say particulars, but in a very sad circumstances, in that something that happened in your life and in your family. I was so blessed to help you through this time and to guide your family also, and also to share the sorrow with you and your family. And immediately, I think we connected because you're just such a special person. You were kind, caring, a little bit shy. Thank you for speaking so highly of me. I did encourage you to write that speech, yes. That is my role, right? To push a little bit, to push the boundaries. But at first, when you started, you were really nervous how you will be able to accomplish all that, especially the singing part. And nevertheless, you chanted perfectly, every single word. There is not a single mistake, which shows that you are like everybody else. You are so determined. And once you put the goal in front of you, you achieve it with success and really in a superb way. So mazel tov. I love you.
Thank you.
And Debbie? I know. Well, Debbie, like you said, we've met, it was a bashet, right? It meant to be. You were the only one from Temple Shalom, besides myself. Well, some people wanted to attend, but just couldn't, who joined me in our ride to New York City to join the march against anti-Semitism. And I think this was the best time for us to bond. Before, again, I only met you through this sad event, but on the train, we realized that we have so many things in common and we just couldn't stop talking. And we talked on the way to New York City for like an hour, and then all through the march, which probably was like, what, 3 hours, 4 hours that we spent? Freezing, and on the way back another hour. So we basically spent a whole day, say no more, right? And we still like each other. And you decided to join the group and brought your sister. We oftentimes have very interesting discussions. We exchange articles, which are very stimulating for our brains. And I really enjoy our friendship and relationship. And I can't be prouder of you also. You mentioned that you were not exactly sure how you were going to be able to chant, but just like your sister, you set the goal, you accomplished it, and you did superbly. So mazel tov. Thank you. I'm getting also very emotional because, like I said, I have a special connection with Andrea. Like I'm up here every week. Yes, you do come up every week. Runs in the family.
Apparently.
I don't know who followed who. You're telling me that I'm following you, but in a way you're also following me. I'll explain. First, the Kirschbaum family were congregants at Temple Neor, which was my first pulpit. And when I came to Temple Shalom, you were very happy because you said you really liked when I was there, your clergy, back then a cantor. And so we in a way reunited, right? So we follow each other. I remember one snowy day I called because I needed some volunteers on 3 committees. Was it three committees? Yes. Yeah, the ritual committee, membership committee, and what was the third one?
I can't remember. May have been, I don't even know.
Well, at least 2. Yeah. So I called you. First, I thought that I would speak to Stu Kirschbaum, right? And but you know, like you share the email, you also share everything else. So you picked up the phone. I was impressed with the easiness and lightness. You agreed to be on all the committees I asked you to be on, including your husband. So both of you now incredibly involved in the synagogue. And I can't even imagine now any function without you guys. You've been pretty much for every single Friday night service, bringing Emma every time. Emma, I would say you like grew up here at Temple Shalom. Your siblings would tag along from time to time with their friends, right? But you really became like the staple here in the synagogue. And to my joy, when you decided to also join this class, it was like, you know, also finishing the circle. Right, exactly. And I got to celebrate so many beautiful things in your family life. I truly feel not like your clergy, but a friend. And so I'm so happy for you. Mazel tov. You did amazing. Emma, thanks for helping your mom. Terrific job. Thank you. I need to give you the stool. Are you okay?
I'm okay right now. I should be all right.
Well, I think just like Kirschbaum family, you are the face of Temple Shalom, Anita, because whenever we show up here, you're here also. And I think this temple has a success because of people like you. You are caring, you want to be involved, and you want to bring the best, what you have, and share it with all your temple family and beyond. You are so social. You have an enormous amount of friends. It's unbelievable. Some of them are here today. Yes, thank you for coming. But I know that you have many, many more because you just attract people. You're lovable and fun and charismatic, and people are just drawn to you. Because you only spread the goodness and the smile and the positive attitude, even at the hardest times. And you would share when you have a bad day, but at the same time, you would come to rehearsal and you'll always smile and you'll always have the sense of humor and the positive attitude. And you know what? This is the most important thing to get you through tough places, and eventually will bring you, like today, to a place and time when you feel so happy and so proud and appreciate really all the wonderful things that surround you, and always focus on that, only on positive, and you deserve it. You're beautiful inside out, and I love you.
We'll hug soon.
Yes. Well, we already hugged some. And to 3 of my Bat Mitzvah who are virtual, also, by the way, I need to thank Don Fast for making this possible and seamless. We were really very nervous, all of us, how it's going to work out, because some people understandably uncomfortable still to be in person. This is really, in a way, a miracle that we were able to work it out. So let's see, Robin. I'm going to remove the mask. What can I tell you? I think that Robin is the reason I'm here. So Robin, when you thank me in a speech, you can thank yourself. When we first started this sharing opportunity, the sharing of clergy, when I was still working both at Temple Beth Am and Temple Shalom, was a little hectic, just a little bit. But Robin made it really possible. She really always would come with advice. She would calm me down. Believe it or not, there were times when I was really stressed, and Robin would always have the right words for me to make sure that we continue in the right direction. And eventually, I became the rabbi and the cantor of Temple Shalom, which I think was one of the best things that ever happened in my life. And again, Robin, this is mainly thanks to you. So here, I'm thanking you back for you thanking me in your speech. You are an extremely determined person also. Well, all of this group, we have people who really see the goal, very strong women, and just go there, no matter what it takes, how much time it takes. And it did take a lot of time, right, Robin? While you were very busy with work and stressing out whether or not we'll be able to accomplish all of our studies to the May 8th, before May 8th, right? We were even considering possibly to move the date, but nevertheless, we were all determined, and you have accomplished reading the Hebrew and learning the chant of the Torah and writing an incredible speech. I think that your girls now, and your husband, of course, who are standing behind you, have an incredible role model. You truly showed on your example, like we all should, to your kids that not only Judaism is important, but also anything is possible if you put your mind into it. So mazel tov to you. I love you. And soon we'll celebrate in person. Marjorie. Yes, great intellect. I think we could all tell based on your speech that you are not, I'm just moving this so I can see you like right in front of me, that you like to dig deep. You like to get to the core of things. You have an incredible education. You're musical. You love to play piano. You asked me at some point if you could learn the tropes yourself, which totally surprised me, but at the same time, not really. So you took the time on your own to learn how to chant the Torah, so that in the future, I hope that you will join me on the Bima for other services, like others as well, and recite other Torah portions, not just, and the Haftarah. You wanted to go beyond. Just Torah wasn't enough. You also wanted to learn the Haftarah portion, right? And you've accomplished a terrific amount of, a great deal of material that you learned. I also love discussions with you. I love receiving your texts after I finish the service, commenting on my sermons. I know that I can always rely on you to give me the honest feedback. So far, it was always positive. So that's great. And I'm just looking forward to also continuing our friendship and in-person relationship. And I love you too. Mazel tov. Last but not least, in Hebrew we say acharon acharon chaviv. The last one is the sweetest, but all of you are sweet to me. Barbara Lewin. Barbara is an incredibly talented person. She's a photographer, and you should see her works. As a matter of fact, Barbara wanted to offer she wanted to teach us photography. So in the future, we may be offering a photography virtual classes through Barbara Lewin. You are not very, I would say, you didn't talk too much, but when you say something, it's right to the point. You like to observe things, and you're very perceptive. You're also very goal-oriented, and you're a perfectionist. Sometimes it can be a little bit tough, right, to be a perfectionist, because you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and yet you accomplish everything just like you wanted in the perfection. And so today you chanted both the Torah and the Haftarah, just I think the way you wanted. Are you happy with the way you did? Thank God. Because sometimes you would be reaching out to me and saying, oh, I wish I did better, but I'm so happy that you are pleased with yourself, because this is the most important time for you ladies to appreciate who you are, and for you, Barbara, too. And I think that you really did, and you really were in that moment. So I love you too, and mazel tov.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Isn't this group terrific, guys? They're the best. We are ready now to return the Torah to the Ark. I would like to invite Ronald Scott and Darcy, yes. So Ronald and Darcy Scott to open the Ark. As we return the Torah to the Ark, please rise. Oh, Nathaniel, yes.
And Dana.
Dana and Nathaniel, please come on up and open the Ark.
586 for Ali. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא שמנו גבי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Mazel tov.
Don't worry, they're all from the same household. Maybe still. Welcome, Mazel tov. Ladies, I want you back here. All right, I will actually in front of you. So I will stand here and you will stand in front of me. You may be seated. In front of me. And this is also for our virtual Bat Mitzvah, Marjorie, Barbara, and Robin. So I'm going to bestow the priestly benediction, blessing of the Kohanim upon you. And then, of course, we have to sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, so I hope everyone will join me at the end. May God guide you and protect you. May God always shines light upon you. May God always brings peace to you. Amen. And we join in Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Turn around. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. What did I say about Anita? One more time, right? Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. That was our order, right? Yes. All right. You can come back. Page 594. There are stars up above, so far away, we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we leave our days, these are the ways we remember. This Shabbat, we remember Harold Cultus, Philip Shangold, Millie Shangold, Abraham Landa, Estelle Landa, Philip Marks, Frederick Weinfeld, Pauline Greenspan, Annabelle Lustig, Sidney Rosen, Linda Silverberg, Lois Colmer Bloom, Henry Berliner, Bernice Nimar Weinstein, Ethel Morrison, Leonid Lidansky, Ralph Morris Elgod, and the Jewish fallen soldier, Staff Sergeant Gordon Thomas. We also remember those who passed this year: Martin Kranzbaum, Amani Kildea, Barbara Dubin, Marilyn Davidson, Cy Friedman, Joan Barron, Phyllis Vogel, Joe Ungerleider, Evie Solich, Barry Lakin, Rose Shapiro, Fred Furtick, Bernard Horowitz, Sandy Lehman, Sharon Koenig, Dr. Michael Raskin, Ann Gontarski, Morton Prefer, Irv Budnick, Bruce Zeidman, Ludmila Shaban, and from period of Shloshim, Rada Melendez. If there are other people who you mourn for, please say their names and rise. We join in Kaddish, page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Amen. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayei chon u'v'yomei chon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam le'almei almai yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithale v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'rihu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, and together let us say Amen. You may be seated. Ladies, I would ask you to please go to the table with the challah and the wine and make a blessing over the wine and the No, but at least it's not the frozen one. So first the wine. Somebody has to hold the Kiddush cup. Anita, you can hold yours.
I know. Sydney made this like 100 years ago.
Oh, so pretty. I have at least for one of my girls those cups from Hebrew Academy. Echad, shtaim, shalosh. Amen. And over the challah. Amen. We have an anonymous donor who provided oneg for after the service. So after we finish with Ein Keloheinu, everyone is invited outside the doors. There will be a table set under the roof, so it's okay. We can still hang out outdoors if you feel comfortable. So mazel tov again to my amazing group. I love you all. And I hope that we'll continue our education together and our friendship. I'm sure we will continue. So we will finish with Ein Keloheinu, page 626.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kmosheinu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kmosheinu.
One thing I forgot. Sorry. There are more presentations. Oh, yes. I'll finish the final hymn after Eric Levine, the president of our temple, who was waving to me. I'm sorry, Eric, but he has very special presentations also and gifts for you, ladies. So, yes, stick around, and then we'll continue with the Ein Keloheinu. Yeah. So perfect. You can turn around and he'll speak to you.
Can you guys, can they stand over here?
Yeah.
Can you guys come up and join me on the bima? Thank you. You guys are okay with the mask off?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so if I didn't know any of you, I learned a lot from you this morning. And your connection obviously with Robin, Barbara, and Marjorie virtually. Rabbi,
yes.
Again, spectacular, beautiful service, but you seem to really have made this wonderful connection with everybody and learned so much from you this morning that you're each come with your own perspective and learning during this whole process, and it's really quite amazing. So it's an honor to be here. So Mazel Tov again on your Bat Mitzvah. You've committed months of study and have already bravely ascended the Bima, not because of any chronological imperative or family pressure, or maybe a little family pressure, or the promise of gifts and parties. Yeah, we can talk about the chair later. But you did it voluntarily, affirming your Jewish identities with joy and enthusiasm. Each culminating a unique Jewish journey that adds another precious stone to our synagogue's mosaic. You are role models for our congregation and for me to take on the challenge of mastering the service and reading the Torah as adults is a deep commitment to Judaism. All of you have inspired me, as I'm sure everyone participating in this ceremony today feels the same way. You certainly made some sacrifices and of course made this key and profound investment in Jewish traditions to get to this point and should be proud of this wonderful accomplishment. This adult B'nai Bat Mitzvah class at Temple Shalom demonstrated how different paths led to a common goal. All of you helped to lead services, read from the Torah, chant the Haftorah, and share with the congregation your commitment and passion of how you achieve the significant honor as a Bat Mitzvah. As Jews, we have the right to embrace all that this religion has to offer, as all of you have taken the necessary steps to pursue its spiritual offerings. We all aspire to have some type of spiritual connection. I think we would all agree reading from the Torah was a magical experience. Now, I would like to present to you your Bat Mitzvah certificate signed by Rabbi Sarita Litvak.
Yeah.
That's in the mail. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every one of them, but they're really very pretty. And everybody signed this earlier this morning. So you'll get this shortly after the service is concluded. Let me put this over here. And I do have some gifts. They're not personalized, but they come personal from the heart. So that's on behalf of Temple Shalom. Carol, Debbie.
Thank you.
Do I have to stretch all the way? Okay. Andrea?
And ladies, I have to give Eric credit because it was his initiation. He really decided on the gift, so I had nothing to do with that.
Well, you don't have to open them now. Okay, you're already open.
Thank you, Eric. That's a great speech.
So, ladies, so again, I'd like to say how proud we are as a Temple community to have you represent us on this beautiful day. Mazel Tov to Robin, Anita, Andrea, Carol, Debbie, Marjorie, and Barbara. Mazel Tov. So after the ceremony, there is something that will be back for the ladies on the table. I got everybody flowers. So it's funny because the flowers are actually, when I bought them, I won't tell you when I bought them, but they happen to be grouped in 7. And lo and behold, there's 7 of you, even though there's 4 of you here. So they'll be on the back table. Just something for your honor.
Thank you,
Mazel
Eric.
Tov.
Always with personal touch. What a president. I know.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonai, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Mosheinu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonai, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Mosheinu.
Shabbat Shalom and happy Mother's Day to everyone. Yeah. Okay.
One more thing.
You're gonna, you know.
Ooh.
Bought for you.
The wrapping looks very pretty.
Yeah, I did the wrapping.
Very
Normally
nice.
I don't.
We entrusted Anita to do
This is from
Thank
your 2021 B'nai Mitzvah class.
Oh,
To cherish and always have, and we love you.
thank you.
Thank you for leading us to this journey of adult Judaism.
Yes.
I'm certainly going to miss our sessions. in person and virtual together and separately. So, you know what? We may be the pioneers. We may do that. I love it. Yes, yes. I'm going to begin working on Israel trip. Yep, yep. So Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov, Happy Mother's Day. I will see everybody downstairs. Okay, thank you. Yay. Yeah, right.